Everything happens for a reason. Be positive. Don't be negative. You're okay. Never give up. Look on the bright side. Look for the silver lining. Does anybody say that anymore? I feel like I'm 90 years old.
Look for the silver lining.
Toxic positivity. What is it? Why is it problematic? And what is the difference between toxic positivity and just your average, your regular old positivity, being positive? There is a place for being positive, but let's differentiate. So I'm Shani Levy-McBay. I'm a marriage and family therapist, and I would like to address this, especially now. I feel like it's coming up a lot during this COVID experience, pandemic. So usually when people are trying to be positive or responding to you in a positive, or like if you're complaining to somebody or to yourself, if you're having a hard time and you're thinking, oh, let me just be positive, or it's usually coming from a good place with good intentions. The person offering you these positive sentiments is really, mostly, is wanting you to feel better. Or maybe they just really don't know what to say. Or we have been so steeped in self-help culture that this is sort of our go-to when there's any kind of suffering happening around us, either within ourselves or with another person that we love or care about. So why is this problematic? Okay. So for a couple of reasons. It can feel really invalidating when you are feeling sad or anxious and the person that you're talking to, whether it's someone else or yourself, says, well, just think positively. So it invalidates your experience of having any kind of feeling. It can feel dismissive. It can even feel rejecting. If you're engaging with it yourself, it can be a form of avoidance of the reality of the situation. So, for example, during COVID, during lockdown, for a lot of us, it was kind of hell to be home with our kids day in and day out doing online school, especially if anyone has a child with special needs. Now, I'm making a blanket statement. Some people really actually flourished during this time. That's great. For a lot of us, it was really hard. Myself included. And if one more person was to tell me to stay positive, look on the bright side, I was really going to punch them in the face. Okay. Now, hopefully, most therapists, when you go to therapy, will help you actually realize that you are a full human being and that you cannot only have part of a human emotional experience, which positive feelings are part of the human experience, but so are negative feelings. So, like, for example, it's okay to feel like things are difficult and stressful and hard. We don't want to necessarily stay there and escalate it because that can cause other problems. At the same time, we want to validate ourselves or somebody else's experience if they're having a difficult time. That can only help because feelings have kind of a shelf life, like meaning there's, they only last so long. And if you can feel all your feelings, which I know sounds really simplistic, like, okay, just feel your feelings. Like, what the hell does that mean? I'll address that a little bit more and maybe even make a video about tips and ways and even things that, maybe that we do in therapy that can help with that part of it. Well, here, let me talk a little bit about the brain. What we know so far is that we have a tendency to see the negative because it is a survival mechanism. So are you familiar with fight, flight, or freeze, that phenomena that if you're stepping out into traffic and there's an oncoming car that's going way too fast, like you'll jump back or you run quickly across, or sometimes it's like a deer in the headlights, right? Fight, flight, and freeze are a survival mechanism. And so we are constantly kind of built and wired to survey our environment for threats, right? Sometimes it's overactive though. We don't always need to do that, or it can be kind of exaggerated for some people. That's why it can kind of go into the realm of anxiety if it's too much, or depression. So when I talk about not staying in the negative emotions, that's what I'm talking about. It's like either extreme is not healthy. In this video, I'm focusing on the positive extreme, the toxic, when it becomes toxic positivity. When we attempt to only focus on the good, it's like when anything negative sneaks in, it can cause even more distress. Now we're starting to feel shame about feeling bad that we're feeling bad. It starts to become a thing about like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I let this go? Why can't I be positive? Why can't I manifest unlimited positive vibes and wealth? Right? Why is law of attraction not working for me? I'm sorry, but like I think that whole idea of the self-help and all of that has really done a number on our mental and physical health, right? I mean, even so much as like, I know people kind of blame themselves for some sort of like, when they get like an illness diagnosis, like a cancer diagnosis or some other kind of debilitating illness, and they start to blame themselves like it was their thoughts that caused this. Now, does a positive attitude help you feel better? Of course, but you still have to experience the other side of things too. You're going to feel anxious sometimes, you're going to feel sad sometimes, you're going to feel unhappy sometimes, and that is all normal. Now, here's the thing. If you don't deal with those things, your body and your mind will find a way. Let me ask you, how does it work for you to ignore your thoughts, your negative thoughts, ignore your feelings, or push them down, or shove them aside? Don't they always come back? And if they don't, you will find a way to deal with them. I think that's why a lot of people, turn to drugs and alcohol to cope. Some people turn to food. For others, it may be taking it out on other people to regulate their emotions or to feel their feelings or to get some relief out of these negative feelings that you're not supposed to have. So if you just feel your feelings in the first place, they will pass. Yes, they do, right? And there are ways to help that process along. Mindfulness, writing things down, going for a walk, moving your body can help with that. If you think it would be helpful, maybe I'll do a video on how to process and feel your emotions. So let me know what you think. Really, I'm coming at it from my, yes, it is my opinion, but based on clinical knowledge and experience and personal experience too. I've read all the books. I've, paid too much money for all the self-help techniques that were supposed to provide me with the right way of thinking, of acquiring all the wealth in the world and unlimited potential and all whatever that means. Okay, so thanks for watching, and if you watched to the end of this video, I have to thank you because with the algorithm and all that kind of stuff, like they really like that. The bots really like it when you watch to the end of the video. They think that I'm great. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. If you disagree with me, it's okay. One of the things that I try to teach my kids, and when I'm saying it to my kids, I'm also kind of saying it to myself, like, not everyone has to like you. Is that crazy? That kind of blew my mind. As a person who is a people pleaser. Not everyone has to like me. And that's okay. Like, I'll survive in the world if not everyone likes me. Wow. Thanks. See you next time.